was just wondering what I would do.
Hey, hey, yeah.
The stuff that you do now, of course, some of this you're obviously recreating things, so it's meant to be done for the camera. But when you run into stuff, how does that affect you when you've got the cameras going? Is it like, oh my God, look at the camera, come on! You know, what do you do? How do you handle that when that happens? And do you have that happen very often?
It happens quite a bit. You know, so much that people really don't believe, you know, that it's real sometimes. For example. The joke is, you know, if I've got a investigation camera turned on and I'm looking for something, and or you've got your meters or something, and all of a sudden the battery drains on it. For those of you who actually go out and do investigations, you know how common that is. Batteries will just be zapped, and they've been charged just recently. And but the joke is, how come it's always your camera and not the production camera that goes out? I don't know. You know, does that happen with you guys too? It's really strange, but like the cameras that I'm holding, sometimes will just zap out, yet they're able to film the whole thing. Other times, like Bill was saying, we will just go kind of take off and run. And I like to leave our camera guys in the dust. You know, I do. It's fun to just bolt off. If I hear something, why am I going to sit around and wait when that can be gone? A case that we did in the UK, Dartmoor. We had a thermal imager out. We were looking for the beast of Dartmoor. And we hear this very low rumbling. And just then, you know, we picked up some images on the scope. You know, and I took off running towards it. You know, and our camera people had to catch up, you know, so there is kind of a lot of that happens, but we all come from different backgrounds. Very few of us have any TV experience, so it can be kind of frustrating. My experience was law enforcement, you know, and so I come into the TV world, and you know, they constantly tell me you're just too big standing in front of people when you talk, and you're blocking them off. And, you know, so
bad boy, what you gonna do?
It is, you know, and so if I was saying something, this is another thing, like give you the ins and outs. You guys can ask any questions you want about how a TV show is filmed. But it is no surprise. There are some things that, like a reaction, you know, that has to be maybe picked up again. Because if I was blocking off what, you know, Larry said, as, you know, he just barely saw something, and I blocked him like this, you know, they want to see him, you know, making that reaction to it. And sometimes, on a rare occasion, you do have to pick those back up, you know. And besides that, though, these are real reactions. If I had the reaction once, you know, I'll try to give it the same way I gave it the first time, you know. But that's what happens in TV. Otherwise, you would have this really juxtaposed story that doesn't make much sense to the viewer, and you're planning for kind of the simplest viewer. You have to spoon feed them some things. I like my shows to be very highly intellectual, but sometimes if it looks kind of stupid and like you're beating a dead horse, you have to plan for those viewers who may not get it. You know, so I'm rambling.
It's okay. Now, Larry, you're the effects guy, right?
Yeah.
You're the guy who gets blocked by Ben's elbow. Mom, I was in this episode. Watch. Oh, that's me right there behind Ben's elbow.
It happens more than you think, and I'm beginning to think he does it purposefully.
Tell me what you do as the effects guy on Factory.
Well, you didn't really get to see a whole lot of it in the episodes that have aired thus far. These next 6 that we are shooting, we've made a concentrated effort to try to incorporate our strengths into the investigations that we actually go out to. So you're going to be able to see a lot more in these next 6, which I'm not exactly sure how much I'm allowed to talk about, but
Come on, you can tell us all the secrets, right?
I would love to. I would love to give you detail everything that it involves, but no, I get to have a lot of fun. It's kind of a catch-22 though, because with the good comes the bad. Sometimes I'm able to do something that is very impressive, and then other times I get blamed for it if it sucks, you know? And so...
Any pyrotechnics?
Not yet. We'll get there. I mean, after we get the budget for better insurance, we'll get to it.
I will add, Larry did super glue his lips together 3 nights ago by accident when he was doing this arts and crafts project for this effect, and he went to blow on the cap for the super glue, and he's like, wait, I can't talk.
Yeah, that was one of those they cut out and had to redo. So.
Oh, that was edited out of the show? Nice.
Well, we don't know. I mean, it just happened. So maybe they'll keep it in.
I hope not.
And that whole thing of, Amy, you were talking about it, Ben, you were talking about it, where sometimes you have to, you're watching a live show that is reality in what you're doing, but for the sake of production, there's times you have to go back to something that was live where like you go, oh my God! And then they go, hey, now we need to get you doing that from a different angle because it was behind Ben's elbow. So you've got to act as well. You got to go back and do a redo or a voiceover or something.
I think it's painfully obvious when we're acting.
I was just wondering what I would do.
Hey, hey.